Welcome to the deep dive. We're the place you come to where we sift through different sources to pull out those really useful bits of knowledge, those insights that genuinely help you day to day.
Exactly. We dig into the details so you don't have to.
And today we're diving into something super relatable. Almost everyone's dreaded it at some point. A trip or maybe a call to the electricity office.
Yes, the classic utility company tango.
Totally. So our mission for this deep dive is to unpack a really detailed, everyday English conversation, one our sources highlighted that happened around an electricity issue. We want to find the practical tips, maybe some surprising human stuff, and definitely the communication tactics hidden inside.
And it's fascinating, isn't it, how something like a power cut or a bill that makes your eyes water can actually teach us a lot about tackling problems effectively, maybe even with a bit of humor thrown in.
Okay, let's jump right in. Part one from our source material. The blackout panic. So imagine you're this person, Alex. You're cooking. Maybe something that needs constant attention.
Right, like a risotto or something.
Exactly. And then poof, darkness. The power just cuts out completely. Stove off, lights out, dinner plans ruined.
That immediate shock and frustration. It's visceral. It's more than just inconvenience. It throws your whole equilibrium off, doesn't it? Suddenly you're in stress mode.
For sure. So Alex, understandably annoyed, grabs the phone and calls Bright Power Electricity. On the other end, you've got Ria, the call center agent. She sounds calm, very structured, trying to follow the process.
Standard procedure, get the details, identify the problem.
But here's the first snag. Ria asks for the customer ID, and Alex draws a blank. The source describes it perfectly. Hold on. It's 2024 ELE. No, wait. 2024 ELE 789, or was it 987? Ugh.
Oh, that is so relatable. That moment your brain just refuses to cooperate under pressure. You know the number usually, but right then, gone.
Exactly. And it highlights something, doesn't it? How stress just messes with our recall.
It really is. It's a cognitive load issue. When you're stressed, accessing stored information like a string of numbers becomes much harder. And this points to a really practical insight from the source material.
Which is?
Keep those crucial IDs easily accessible. Save it in your phone notes, tape it inside a kitchen cabinet, whatever works. It's not just about being organized. It's about reducing friction when you're already flustered. It helps you manage the situation better because you've removed one source of stress.
Such a simple thing, but yeah, it makes a huge difference. Okay, so Alex gets through the call eventually, but the saga isn't over. Fast forward a bit. Alex gets his next electricity bill, and he heads down to the office in person because this bill looks, well, astronomical.
This is part two, the billing shock.
Yeah.
Another classic homeowner headache.
Yeah.
You open the bill and just stare.
Right. For Alex, the bill claims he used 2,000 units last month, which is apparently way, way off his usual usage.
And his reaction, according to the source, was brilliant. He basically asked the officer, "Do you think I'm running a secret Bitcoin mine in my closet?"
Huh. It perfectly captures that feeling of disbelief, like, this cannot be right.
It's that mix of frustration and needing to inject some absurdity because the number feels so absurd.
And get this, the officer, a Mr. Kapoor, starts off looking pretty stern, official. But Alex's comment actually gets a reaction.
What'd he say?
Mr. Kapoor apparently replied, with maybe a slight smile, "Sir, if you were mining Bitcoin, at least you'd afford this bill."
Oh, that's good. That little bit of humor. It changes everything, doesn't it?
Instantly. It breaks the tension. Suddenly it's not just customer versus stern official.
Exactly. And that's a key insight here about communication. Humor, used appropriately, even in a slightly formal setting like this, can be incredibly effective. It diffuses the situation, makes the interaction more human, and actually opens the door to solving the problem together rather than the squaring off against each other.
Yeah, it shifts from confrontation to collaboration almost. Okay, so the ice is broken. Now what? This leads us to part three, the meter mystery.
Right. Mr. Kapoor, perhaps softened by the Bitcoin exchange, suggests they go and physically look at the meter together.
A good move. Boots on the ground, or, well, eyes on the meter.
And this is where the plot thickens. They check the actual meter outside Alex's place. Alex reads the dials. 00250 units.
Okay, 250 units, but the bill?
The bill stated 02750 units. 2050.
Whoa! That's not a small difference. That's huge.
Massive difference. It immediately tells them something went very wrong, somewhere between the meter reading and the bill generation.
So what was it? A faulty meter? Some complex system error?
Nope. Much simpler. And maybe a bit embarrassing for the company. Mr. Kapoor, looking, as the source says, a bit sheepish, admits it was. A typo.
A typo, seriously.
Seriously, someone, somewhere typed an extra zero when entering the reading into the system. 0250 became 02050, just like that.
Wow, one tiny keying error caused all that stress and that sky-high bill.
Exactly. And Mr. Kapoor immediately apologized and promised to fix the bill, of course. But think about the core takeaway here.
It's gotta be check your meter yourself.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Don't just trust the paper bill implicitly. Whether it's electricity, water, gas, if the number looks off, go look at the source data if you can. Compare the reading on your bill to the reading on your meter. It's basic vigilance.
It really underscores the power of being your own advocate, doesn't it? That small act of double-checking saved Alex potentially hundreds, maybe thousands, depending on the tariff.
Precisely. It shows how these seemingly small clerical errors can have significant financial consequences, and how individual diligence is sometimes the only safety net. It makes you wonder, like you said, how often this might happen unnoticed.
Scary thought. Okay, so after the typo discovery, things get resolved, right? Part 4. The happy ending and the learnings.
Yes, thankfully. Alex gets the bill corrected immediately,
Right.
and apparently Mr. Kapoor even gave him a small discount for the trouble and, the inconvenience caused.
Nice touch. And Alex's reaction? Pure relief, I bet.
Totally. The source quotes him saying something like, "Now I can stop eating cold sandwiches in the dark."
Perfect. And Mr. Kapoor?
He kept the light tone going. His parting shot was apparently just promise not to start that Bitcoin farm, okay?
Love it. It ends on a human note. So, stepping back, what's the overarching strategy we learned from Alex's whole ordeal?
I think the source material really emphasizes being politely but firmly persistent. Alex was clearly frustrated, but he didn't become overly aggressive. He stated his case, provided his evidence, like the Bitcoin comment and later the meter reading, and kept pushing for a resolution calmly but without backing down.
That feels key for dealing with any kind of bureaucracy, really. Polite but firm. Don't lose your cool, but don't be a pushover either.
Exactly. And the source also helpfully pulled out some key phrases from the conversation that are useful to remember. Things like,
Okay, yeah. Like what?
simple, direct stuff. My power is out, can you help? Or, there was a mistake in my bill, and the crucial one. Could you check the meter reading again?
Clear, specific, get straight to the point without being accusatory initially. Useful phrases.
Very useful. And there was one more cultural tip mentioned in the source material.
Yeah.
It pointed out that in many places, these kinds of utility offices and maybe bureaucratic systems in general tend to move slowly. It's not necessarily inefficiency. Sometimes it's just the process.
Right, so that reinforces the need for patience. Patience combined with that polite persistence. You might not get instant results, but you need to stick with it.
Precisely. Understand the system you're in.
Okay, so we followed Alex from a dark kitchen through bill shock to uncovering a typo. It's quite the journey.
It really is. And we've picked up some solid practical advice. Check your IDs are handy. Check your meter readings. Use humor maybe. Be politely persistent.
Absolutely, more than just a story about an electricity bill. So the final thought for you listening, think about these principles. Vigilance, clear communication, that polite firmness. Where else in your life could they apply?
Yeah, where else might systems seem confusing or information might get jumbled? It makes you think, doesn't it?
Yeah.
What other hidden typos might be lurking in your bank statements, your insurance policies, or anywhere else data is transferred?
Something to chew on. Are you checking the metaphorical meters in your own life? That's definitely food for thought.